Welcome to Infield Fly, the podcast where we talk all things baseball. My name is Jonah White. Here's the host of the podcast, Tommy Hodgkins.
Thank you, Jonah. We got some great baseball this past week. Let's do a really deep dive into the Washington Nationals beating the Mets in spring training.
I got a better idea. Let's not talk about that, and let's talk about the World Baseball Classic instead.
Wait, so I think the Nats beating the Mets is more important, but you know what? I'll go with that. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to trust the guy in charge.
Okay.
So we'll talk
talk about the WBC.
The World Baseball Classic. We're both very excited about it. I think some people think it's just kind of a spring training sidebar. I don't think it's like that. I think it's the World Cup of baseball. I think it keeps becoming a bigger deal each year, and I'm super excited to see what's going to happen. I think there's a lot of uncertainty. That's what makes it exciting.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of superstars playing. There are a lot of big names last time. I feel like there are even more star power. There's even more star power this time around. So it's going to be really exciting. The competition is wide open. I'm excited. We were seeing today. Team USA and all other jerseys. They're reporting to the practices. It's about that time. We were gonna get some meaningful baseball coming up. It's exciting.
Yeah, and then tomorrow you got a lot of major league teams playing exhibition games against teams from the World Baseball Classic. The Mets taking on Nicaragua. I'm not sure. Do you know who the Nationals are playing?
The Nationals play. I think in a couple days they play Venezuela.
Wow, I'm taking Venezuela.
Well, there's a notable the player on Team Nicaragua. Mark Vientos is on Team Nicaragua, so he's gonna be that's a conflict of interest right there, maybe.
More on that in a little bit.
Okay.
Spoiler.
Okay.
Well, it kicks off in just a couple of days. It's less than 2 weeks long. A lot of baseball, a lot of meaningful baseball packed into a short amount of time. We talked a little while ago about the insurance debacle, and I think that is unfortunate. I think it takes down the tournament, but it certainly is still a very big deal, something that we're very much looking forward to. So without further ado, let's get a little bit further into it.
Yeah.
We're going to save the best for last. If you don't mind,
predictions.
Tommy. Bracket, full predictions. You want to get prognostications, maybe a little bit of predicting the future. Mm-hmm. Oracle. We'll save that. If you want to know what's going to happen in the World Baseball Classic, stick around all the way until the end. We're going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. But for now, let's start with some players to watch for, Tommy. We'll go back and forth.
Sure. Yeah, I have about 3 players to watch for.
About 3?
Well, so I cheated a little bit. Some of these are multiple people in one. I'll start out with that. Yeah. I'll start out with that. Yeah. So the first group of players I'm looking out for is it's Team Japan, Seiya Suzuki, Munetaka Murakami, and Kazuma Okamoto. I think that they are very important to Team Japan's success. Obviously, Shohei Ohtani is going to be the headline hitter in that lineup. But someone like Seiya Suzuki, and especially Suzuki and Okamoto, they are both very power heavy. Murakami and Suzuki are very both power heavy guys. And Okamoto and Murakami also coming from the NPB to the MLB this year. It'll be a big showcase for them to kind of show the world what they're capable of. And for Japan to repeat as champions, they're defending their title this time. For them to be successful with that, the players hitting behind Shohei need to show up and need to be driving Shohei in giving him some plate protection as well. So I have Murakami, Okamoto, and Suzuki as players to watch.
Yeah, remember what happened in the World Series with Ohtani getting intentionally walked every time at bat? Like you said, they are going to need protection behind him in the lineup. I know Murakami had a big hit against Mexico last World Baseball Classic without which they might not have gotten to the final that time around. And of course, Japan not only champions last time, but 3-time champions. 3 out of the 5 editions of the World Baseball Classic, Japan have won it. And it's exciting, like you said, to see players that are about to come over to MLB. Kind of a preview. Roki Sasaki last time, remember, was that kind of player. Everybody knew he was going to come at some point. Now he's there. That was the first time we saw him, was in the World Baseball Classic. My first player to watch is going to be Jared Young.
Okay.
Young outfielder for Canada. I think that Canada has a chance to maybe get some revenge for what happened recently on the ice. And, show what they could do on the baseball field. Obviously, they have some big names, Freddie Freeman, Josh Naylor, highlighting that. But Jared Young is a real big league talent for the Mets. He's going to see some playing time this year for the Mets, and I think he might be an important weapon for Canada.
Yeah, that's a good one. I considered going with Denzel Clark, who is on the Canada roster.
Well,
but
did you?
No, I did not.
Okay.
But the Canada outfield group is an interesting one. Owen Casey, Denzel Clark, and Jared Young are both, or especially Casey and Clark, are both young talent. And then Jared Young and Tyler O'Neill, also major league talent that can play in the outfield for Canada. So yeah, I like that pick.
Thank you. I'm glad you liked it.
Of course. So my next pick is, I'm gonna go with Ranger Suarez. At the risk of spoiling my predictions, I think that Team Venezuela is a sleeper pick in this tournament. Their lineup is filled with major league talent and filled with high-end, top-end major league talent. You got Gino Suarez, Luis Arias, the Contreras brothers, Michael Garcia, Jackson Chourio, and of course Ronald Acuna Jr. That's a great lineup right there. I think where they could falter here is the pitching. It's not as strong, but I think that Ranger Suarez needs to be that ace for Venezuela. I think he's the best pitcher on the team. He needs to be able to lock down lineups and give this lineup an opportunity to drive in runs and drive in enough runs to win games. And so yeah, Ranger Suarez I think is a big piece for Venezuela, and that's why he's my second player to watch.
Yeah, I think Venezuela, some would argue, doesn't even qualify as a sleeper pick. It depends on how far you have them to go, but I think a lot of people have Venezuela as a top 4 team, talent-wise. And I think it's interesting that you brought that up, that they're an offense-heavy team. It'll be interesting to see, with games played back to back to back in a short period of time, and the pitching rules restrictions that are unique to the World Baseball Classic. Maybe if you're Team Venezuela, you take your chances in a different game and make sure that you line up Ranger Suarez for a game against the Dominican Republic or USA to try and give yourself the best chance possible in that game. I think the strategy is intriguing, especially so when you've got one pitcher maybe that you can really trust against one of those top lineups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
All right, so my next choice is going to be a player for the Dominican Republic, maybe a middle reliever, but somebody who's got a lot of major league experience. He's a late bloomer in his major league career, but he was an impactful reliever last season for the Mets with a 3.57 ERA and 63 innings. So it'd be a guy I'm sure that the Dominican Republic will bring out in big spots. I'm going to go with Huascar Brazovan. He was, when days when David Peterson would pitch, you could count on Huascar Brazovan coming in the second inning, and he would usually do a pretty good job. He's can pitch multiple innings, and Huascar Brazovan is my pick.
Nice. Yeah, it would be interesting how they manage that bullpen. They got Brazovan, they got Carlos Estevez, Camilo Doval, Gregory Soto. A lot of options there for Dominican Republic, and I'm sensing a trend with your players to watch so far. We'll see if my my theory stands, but I have a theory, and so my last player to watch. It's kind of a group. I'm cheating as well again. It's kind of a group as well. It's going to be so. There's the news that came out that Tarek Skubal is going to pitch one game in the World Baseball Classic. It seems like Paul Skeens is going to pitch two. Yeah, it seems like Paul Skeens is going to pitch 2 games in the World Baseball Classic.
What are we doing? Like, just like I don't know. Don't you think that's kind of silly? Like,
yeah, I mean, I get it with like a Skeens. He's really young. You want to preserve his arm.
Just
I don't
treat
know.
it with the tournament. I think with the respect that it deserves. That's how
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I get it. So with Skeens, the 2 best pitchers in the world, doing 3 starts combined. Joe Ryan, I think, just dropped out because he has a neck injury issue. I'm going with the Matthew Boyds of the world of the United States as my players to watch. Matthew Boyd, your Nolan McLean. Yeah. So like. Logan Webb's going to be a reliable starter, but someone like Matthew Boyd or McLean, they are going to have to step up after Skeens and Skubal make their starts whenever they make those starts. But yeah, so obviously there's a lot of high-powered lineups throughout this tournament. If someone like a Matthew Boyd blows up and kind of loses the game for the United States, especially in that 1 game format in the tournament, that could be very detrimental to the Team USA. But they also have the capability to. It
could be
have
very
good
detrimental
starts.
if they lose the game in the game of elimination. I agree with that.
Yeah, but they also have the capabilities. We've seen it in the MLB of keeping their teams in the game, being consistent starters. And so I think a lot of the success of Team USA relies on these starters.
I think that's a good point because it's true. As good as stacked as the Team USA roster is, and it is, just takes one, and we've seen plenty of times in baseball, one star pitcher to have 1 inning meltdown, and that could be the whole thing. So I think that it's true with, that's very unlikely to happen to a Skeens or a Skubal, but it could happen to a Nat Boyd. And yeah, I think Nolan McLean is a really good pitcher. I think, to complain, as you know, I do think it's ridiculous to say I'm going to pitch 1 game, 2 games in this thing, like as if it doesn't. I don't know. It's like it gives the sense that like it's not that important. Right. To me, it should be treated as that important. But in terms of the USA's talent, I think that it runs really deep, and to see. It's true. Are they going to get what they need from those, second tier guys? Right.
And if Clayton Kershaw comes into a
game. Wait. You're breaking the rules. I'm going to break the rules. I haven't yet.
Okay. You go. Who's your player to watch?
I'm gonna have to go with Mark Vientos.
Okay.
Of Nicaragua. I think that he's the best player on the team. I think that's another thing I'm intrigued by is some of the, lower thought of teams, the Washington Nationals of the World Baseball Classic, if you will.
Yeah.
And but with real major league talent, and I just think there's one thing I want to talk about in a moment is the format, but all of the games matter pretty much, even the ones at the bottom of the pool. But maybe you could also spring an upset. I think it'll be interesting to see. Mark Vientos is a guy who could hit 3 home runs in a game. That kind of power, even though he's slower than the slowest guy you could imagine and can't pick up a ground ball for his life. He's a dangerous hitter. And for the Mets, and I think for Nicaragua, he could be the catalyst for them.
Yeah. So your third Met of the segment.
Oh, you noticed.
Yeah. And it's fun to look at the coaching staffs of each of these teams.
Dusty Baker
managing.
That's pretty cool.
Managing Team Nicaragua. I like that. Nats legend Dusty Baker.
Oh, this is true. Anyway, you broke the rules that you made up. So that was interesting. But I have a bonus player. I think that was within the rules. Bonus is allowed.
Sure.
And that was going to be Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
So you kind of jumped the gun a little bit on me with that one. But I think I could see Clayton Kershaw blowing the whole thing.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say the same thing. We saw him come into I forget if it was the World Series, but he came into the pitch a
Game 7
playoff game.
He struck out.
It was.
I forget who it was.
Yeah.
He needed one out and he got it.
Yeah. But it might have been like the DS or something then. I remember there was one playoff series last year where he came in and just completely like blew the game. I think it was already a game that the Dodgers thought they were going to lose, and then Kershaw just like came in and lost it even more and gave up like 4 runs or something like that. But yeah, I really don't want to see Kershaw come into this tournament and like ruin his legacy and just like ruin the tournament for the Team USA. But
yeah, are you telling me that you don't think? I assume that he's eligible, that Dickie Lovelady, for instance, is not a better choice for the roster than Clayton Kershaw if you're just going baseball?
I mean, who knows? Maybe he is. Maybe. I think we're definitely better choices for this.
He is
roster.
American, by the way, Dickie
Richard
Lovelady.
Lovelady.
So he could play instead of Kershaw, but it's very interesting. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. I think there could have been better choices, but he is like a veteran championship winning presence in the clubhouse, so maybe his value comes from that.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I want to ask you a quick question. What's your game of the group stage? Destination viewing, if you will.
That is a great question. I'll go with I think that Pool D is really interesting. Venezuela and Dominican Republic. They're in the same pool. As I mentioned, Venezuela, I really like this team. I really like this lineup. Dominican Republic, not much else needs to be said about them. They have a lot of star power. It'll be interesting how both of those heavy-hitting lineups kind of face off and square off in the pool stage.
And that'll be one of the most important games. We don't know how it's going to shake out, but there's a good likelihood that the prize will be avoiding Japan in the next round, the way that the bracket shakes out. I'm going to go with, if you want to see a guaranteed superstar performance from the captain of the USA, Aaron Judge, tune into the USA versus Great Britain.
Yeah, well, Harry Ford is on Great Britain, so don't count them out.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So that was your game of the group stage.
Yes.
Any other World Baseball Classic news you kind of have?
Well, you mentioned the insurance issue. We talked about a few episodes ago and kind of are on the same page. I think that's ridiculous, unfortunate, and a reflection of certain people's attitude towards the World Baseball Classic. But I didn't realize, embarrassingly, that Javi Baez was not an insurance issue, but he's not playing at the World Baseball Classic because he was busted smoking weed at the last one.
Oh, see, I didn't know that either. But I'm seeing it here, yeah. Javi Baez addresses WBC's suspension for marijuana. Wow.
I mean, come on. What year are we in, Tom?
Yeah, right? Well, yeah, that's interesting.
I mean, and it's not even banned in MLB. It's like the WCBCQX, whatever they call it, the organization I didn't even heard of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's just ridiculous. I mean,
yeah. So
Josh Gordon was a while ago.
That's after all, like. That's just a nail in the coffin, or not a nail in the coffin, but like
pretty much
insult to injury for Puerto Rico to have all this insurance issues, and then Javi Baez to be disqualified for weed. So yeah, that's unfortunate for Puerto Rico.
It is. It's unfortunate for all of us. Javi Baez is a fun guy to watch.
Yeah.
And 2026, Tommy. We can't be doing that.
Yeah, and this is 2023 was pre Javi Baez Renaissance.
Yeah.
So
we'd be banning people for smoking weed.
Yeah.
Come on.
You have anything else on? You said you wanted to talk about format a little bit.
Yeah, of course. Very format is always, whether it's a document or a tournament, a very always interesting topic. But a couple of the rules, first of all, the pitching rules, I kind of get. They're, it's just kind of necessary to protect the pitchers, yada, yada, yada. It adds some strategy to the managers. I don't have a problem with it. The pitching limits and then to wait a certain number of days. But what do you think of the mercy rule? 10 runs after 7 innings, 15 runs after 5 innings. Now, I'll tell you, as a former Little League umpire for the Prospect Park Little League, I was a big fan of the mercy rule. I thought it was a very good idea. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you had to try to help the game to get to the mercy rule. It's time to go home. Mm-hmm. But obviously, you don't really see that in professional baseball. So what do you think?
You don't see it in Major League Baseball, obviously, but you do see that in NCAA, the 10 rule. I've seen the 10 rule mercy rule, 10 run mercy rule after 7, and I don't know. I don't really have too strong of an opinion about it, but I do agree with you how making it seem like spring training is not the best thing for this tournament. But then again, like in an actual professional baseball game, and you see position players throwing 40 miles an hour for 2 innings. How is that any different? How much different is that from ending the game?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. What do you have an opinion on this?
No, I think it's interesting. I think that there's worse offenses in terms of treating the tournament as it should be, treating it with the import that it should have. Mm-hmm. But I do think it's interesting.
Yeah.
You gave a game over after 5 innings.
Right. Yeah, especially the World Tournament, the World Cup of baseball.
I don't know. I guess I get it, but they don't end the World Cup game if it's 6-0 at halftime.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So, I guess it comes down to pitching, whatever. Mm-hmm. The tiebreakers I thought were interesting too. The first one's head-to-head. That makes sense. But then you could have a 3-way tie possibly. And then they go to runs allowed per inning, which is interesting. The next tiebreaker is earned runs allowed per inning. And so basically, think about how that's kind of silly because it's unlikely that it's going to get there. You have to be tied in earned runs per inning. But that means that the scores table has theoretically could decide who gets to advance. So that's an interesting one.
Yeah, I think that my theory behind the thought process behind that would be they want to reward better fielding teams, maybe like a team that gave up all these runs due to errors that don't count as earned runs. Maybe they want to penalize them for that. But yeah, I don't know. That is pretty silly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's unlikely to get past runs allowed per innings, but the last tiebreaker before they draw lots is very unlikely to happen. But it's batting average.
Talk about what year are we living in? Can we do like a WRC plus team WRC plus tiebreakers?
Yeah.
Or like if you're gonna do runs allowed per inning, might as well do outs above average or fielding run value.
Yeah, I hope that that happens. A 3-way tie and runs allowed, earned runs allowed, and I hope that it gets decided on batting
average. Ohtani walked too much. He couldn't bring up the team batting average enough, so they didn't make it out of the pool stage.
Yeah, a little bit of throwback. I kind of like that.
Yeah, that is a throwback.
Unfortunately, tragically, they're playing with the Ghost Runner. I think probably through the whole tournament.
I'm anti Ghost Runner, especially in a tournament.
It's a disgrace.
Yeah,
it's an affront. Well, I'm sure I'll have a more full rant later, but it's a total affront. Mm-hmm. And another issue is that last place in each pool has to requalify for the next tournament. And, so that there's qualifiers each year. It's essentially relegation, and they have to requalify, which is interesting because then you have all of the games pretty much matter, even if the two teams are eliminated. If it's for, to not finish last, that games matter. So I think that's interesting. Mm-hmm. It's an interesting wrinkle to have as well.
Yeah, agreed.
Well,
is it time? Let's do it. Our bracket predictions.
Let's go pool by pool.
Yeah. Let's start with Pool A. We can go back and forth for our number 1 and number 2 for each pool. You want to start?
I think
for
we
Pool
should give
A?
our number 5 too. Who's going to get relegated?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do that on the fly here.
Okay. I'm glad.
Do you want to start?
I'm going to go with Pool A, which is Canada, Colombia, Cuba, Panama, and Puerto Rico. It's taking place at the Hiram Bithorn Stadium in San Juan. I'm going to go, despite all of the challenges, despite the marijuana suspension to Javi Baez and the insurance problems, I'm going to go with Puerto Rico to finish first.
I also had Puerto Rico number 1 in Pool A.
And so, and the number 2 spot is interesting. There's pretty much any of the other 4 teams could contend, but I'm going to go with Canada. Remember, I talked about Jared Young earlier. Maybe he gets the big hit.
I also went with Canada number 2.
How about that?
I also talked about, I liked the young guys in the outfield, Owen Casey, Denzel Clark.
I like it, Young.
Yeah. So who do you have 5th place in Pool A?
To get relegated, I'm going to go with Panama.
I'm also going with Panama. So
okay, well,
we align there. Pool A.
It's pretty boring. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
Pool B is not quite as balanced as Pool A. It's in Houston, Brazil, Great Britain, Italy, Mexico, and the United States of America. And to finish first, I picked the United States of America.
No surprise there. I also went with the United States as first place.
Number 2, I decided to go with Mexico. I think they've got a real talented team. They actually beat the U.S. in group play last time.
Yeah, I remember the Joey Meneses Team Mexico.
Wow. Former national.
Yeah, former national Nats legend. I also have Mexico number 2 in Pool B.
And number 5 for relegation, it's kind of interesting. You know, you could get Great Britain or Brazil. Italy's probably got enough major league talent, but I'm going to go with Harry Ford and Great Britain to get relegated.
I went with Brazil. There's just like no major league talent on this team. So I'm going Brazil to get relegated.
So Group C, you have Australia, Chinese Taipei, very interesting geopolitics there we won't get into, Czechia, Japan, and Korea. So to win Group C, I picked 3-time champion Japan.
I also went with the reigning champions, Japan, first place.
Very similar so far.
Yeah.
For number 2, I went with Korea.
I went with Korea as well.
Wow.
Jung-hoo Lee, Hae-seung Kim leading the team.
What did you know?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they're fan favorites. They're electricians, gym teachers, financial traders, all sorts of the ragtag Czechs. I think they're not going to have a ton of success, unfortunately, even though I'll be rooting for them.
Yeah, I was looking at this Czech roster, and I was like, who are these guys? I
couldn't even play for the Nationals.
Yeah, exactly. I know. That's saying a lot. So, yeah, I have them last place in this pool.
But it is very cool. One of them struck out Ohtani last time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You could get some cool moments. So group number D, we've got some firepower. Dominican Republic, Israel, Netherlands, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. And I picked Juan Soto at the Dominican Republic to win the group.
I also went with Juan Soto and the Dominican Republic to win Group D.
Juan Soto, one of the best players, maybe in MLB history, some would say.
He's better than Ted Williams?
One of the best, I don't
Generation.
but very top player. Probably best in the league currently. For number 2 place, I'm going to go with Venezuela.
I kind of teased it earlier. I'm going with Venezuela, number 2.
I'm pretty sure we've got the same exact bracket for the knockout stage.
But don't worry. I think we're going to veer a little bit.
And to get relegated from Pool D, I'm going to go with Nicaragua. But there's major league talent on Israel, the Netherlands, and Nicaragua, so it could be interesting.
Yeah, I'll go with the Netherlands just to mix it up a little bit.
Okay. All right, it's time to go to the knockout stage, single elimination stage. We have the exact same bracket, starting with Canada against the United States. I'll go first. was a little bit chalk we both were, in fairness. So see what happens now. A little bit chalk in terms of not a ton of upsets in the group stage, which I think is reasonable because there's 4 games. So even if you get upset, you still got a chance to advance. But I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going to go with Canada over the United States.
Wow. That's a big upset. Yeah. So I went with the United States here. I just think that their roster overpowers Canada, but yeah, that's a big upset.
Yeah. Jared Young for Canada.
Jared Young.
Like I said, he was one of the players to watch, if you remember that segment.
That's true.
All right, quarterfinal 2, Korea against the Dominican Republic. We both have that one as well. Korea's got some real talent as well, but not as much as the Dominican Republic. I'm going to go with the Dominican Republic.
I also went with the Dominican Republic, and yeah, I agree. There's just too much talent on that team to lose to Korea.
We do get to the point in the knockout stage, though, where there's enough teams with significant big league talent that upsets are possible.
Right.
That there's the uncertainty increases.
Mm-hmm.
Mexico versus Puerto Rico would be oopsie, I dropped the thing. Yeah, me and Aaron Judge. All right. Would be an intriguing matchup. And I'm going to go with Puerto Rico, even not at full strength. They've still got a lot of good players. Of course, Edwin Diaz. They wound up getting Jose Berrios. They got Yadier Molina as their manager.
Mm-hmm.
And they've still got some big talent on their team. Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I went with Mexico here. I think this is where those issues with the roster finally catch up to Puerto Rico. So I've Mexico advancing to the semis.
Venezuela against Japan. Japan, again, have won 3 out of the 5 times that they have played the World Baseball Classic, including last time. And I'm going to go with Japan to advance to the semifinal.
And I'm going with the upset here. I'm going with Venezuela to defeat the reigning champs. I talked about how I like that lineup so much. So I'm sticking with it.
So we picked the exact same bracket from the group stage. We picked only one of the 4 quarterfinal matchups, so we have the same winner.
Right,
so we've got
right.
very different brackets going into the semifinal. I've got Canada, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Japan, and Tommy's got USA, Dominican Republic, Mexico, and Venezuela. So for me, Canada and the Dominican Republic, if I was Canada, I'd be out partying all night long after beating the United States, and I'm not quite ready for the Dominican Republic. I'm going to go with the DR to advance to the final.
I have the United States versus Dominican Republic, and I have the Dominican Republic defeating the United States. That'll be if they end up playing each other in the semis, that'll be a really, really good game. But yeah, I have Dominican Republic defeating the United States.
So we both have the Dominican Republic in the final. It's impossible for us to have the same team on the other side of the final. We've got totally different matchups. I got Japan and Puerto Rico, and I'm going to go with Japan to get back to the final.
I have Mexico versus Venezuela, and I'm sticking with Venezuela yet again.
Wow.
Spoiled
it earlier on, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I was gushing about them.
Yeah. So I've got the Dominican Republic against Japan in the final. 2 teams that have won it before. 2 teams that have combined for 4 of the 5 World Baseball Classic titles. But I'm going to go with the Dominican Republic and Juan Soto to get their 2nd WBC crown.
So I have the Dominican Republic versus Venezuela in the finals, and I am also going with the Dominican Republic to win the World Baseball Classic. I think that this team, top to bottom, is just excellent. In the outfield, you have Juan Soto, as you mentioned, Julio Rodriguez in center, Fernando Tatis. You can have O'Neal Cruz as a 4th outfielder. Infield, you have Vladdy at first base. Ketel Marte at 2nd. Shortstop, you have pick of the litter. You have Perdomo and Jeremy Pena. 3rd base, you can decide between Junior Caminero and Manny Machado. So, this team is just really deep. And one of the best pitchers in the league, Christopher Sanchez, leading that rotation.
Of course, Oscar Brasaban coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah, we talked about the bullpen. And then even Sandy Alcantara, and Luis Severino. I think that, they're just a really deep team, and they have what it takes to win this tournament.
And in the dugout, Tommy, one of the all-time greats,
Albert Pujols. Yep. And you got Pujols managing, and you know those players respect him a lot, so he'll do a good job.
Pujols managing the Dominican Republic, and Yadier Molina managing Puerto Rico. Think about that.
Cardinals legends of our childhood.
How about that? All right. Well, Tommy, I'll bet you one Guinness that my bracket is better than your bracket.
I'll take that bet.
All right.
We have the same winner, but those upsets in that we have different choices there. So yeah, I'm excited to see how the bracket shakes out, and I'll happily take my pint when mine's better than yours.
All right. So it's time for Stump Tommy.
All right.
We had a really great question earlier. The answer was Oliver Perez, but because of technical difficulties, we had to scrap that one.
Shout out to Oliver Perez, though.
Shout out to Oliver Perez. And so we have to go with a new question on the fly. And the good news is,
you're one of the best in the business.
I have another question.
All right.
Whose pitching line was this?
Okay.
In 2022, 1-1 with a 3.09 ERA in 27 games, 32 innings, 26 hits, 13 runs, 11 earned, 21 walks, and 40 strikeouts. Whose pitching line was that? For the Marlins. Might help you out.
Okay. For
2022 for the Marlins.
2022.
1-1, 3.09.
I don't know if he was still on the team in 22, but I'm going to go with Steve Cishek.
The answer is Oscar Brazovan. And Tommy,
I should have known. I
had his baseball.
It was right in front of me. Wow. Congrats. You've stumped me yet again.
That was his rookie year.
Wow. Wow, good for him. Those are some pretty good numbers.
Tommy's been stumped all 4 times. Name a baseball player, MLB player.
I'm going to go with Placido Polanco, bench coach of the Dominican Republic.
I'm going to go with Tomas Nido.
Oh, there you go. Hit a home run today.
Did hit a home run today. All right, Tommy, anything else before we go? Episode 4, the best one so far?
That's all I have. Anything you have anything?
No, for the host of this podcast, Tommy Hodgkins. My name's Jonah White, saying so long for episode 4 from 303 East Wacker Drive in downtown Chicago. We'll see you next time, next Monday for episode 5. In the meantime, enjoy the start of the World Baseball Classic.